What if you could use Chat GPT to reprogram your subconscious mind? Sounds a little hypey, right? I used to think that as well. But that was until I started using AI in a very specific way to help me learn and internalize information at a very rapid rate, reprogram my subconscious, get rid of limiting beliefs, and elevate myself into building a beautiful, amazing SaaS company called Vision Espresso. I've been in this space for over a decade in the personal development space, AI more so the last 2 years. And like I said, we're building out an amazing SaaS company that helps you utilize AI to become the best version of yourself, reprogram your subconscious mind, get rid of limiting beliefs, and become the best version of yourself. My name is Nico Rapcliffe. I'm not sure if I mentioned that yet, but I wanted to make this video because I was having a great conversation with a friend of mine this past weekend at an amazing event. And we're having this conversation around AI and how he feels like, it's a lot of great information, but how does he internalize it? How does he get it down deep into his subconscious so that it actually shifts him? Because whether you realize it or not, we are all operating from our subconscious mind, and it really is ruling our life. And so on this video, I want to walk you through a dialogue, how I operate with Chat GPT at a very quick rate. I speak it into existence, and it literally starts unfolding. I have it speak it to me. I speak to it. It speaks back to me. I'm going to show you exactly how that all works because I utilize AI in a very specific way that not a lot of people are doing. And I think if you follow this way, you'll be a lot more efficient at reprogramming your subconscious mind, learning at a quicker rate, and becoming the best version of yourself. Because again, like I was mentioning, your subconscious is what rules your entire life. Think about it like a tug of war, except one side has got one person and one side's got 100 people. The side that's got one person is your conscious mind. The other side with 100 people has, it's your subconscious. And it's, no matter how hard you pull on this side, saying I want to make $1 million, but just your subconscious is stuck at saying I'm only making $5,000 a month, that's what's going to happen. And that can apply to any area of your life. So the better that you can learn, the quicker that you can learn, the more you can embed it deeper into your subconscious, that's when things really start to shift. So I want to give a specific example and just highlight it and show you guys how exactly I utilize AI. I tend to use ChatGPT just because it's what I've really found a groove with. So that's what I use. But I think more importantly, I want to show you a few things, and then I want to kind of just walk you through a dialogue that I utilize. So 2 tools that I would highly recommend. You'll notice I have this little guy right here. It's got this little dictating thing here. And what I can do is I can just hit the function key, and then I'll start talking. And then as soon as I let go of the function key, boom, it'll populate exactly what I wrote. Now, obviously, you can use this guy right here to dictate as well. It works perfectly fine too. But it's kind of nice to have that function key. And what I utilize is this thing called Whisper Flow. It's a free app. You can upgrade. I did just because I use it so much. And then the other thing that I would highly recommend is you actually get Speechify down here below as well. I'll put the links down below. But what you can do is you can highlight it and then you can press play.
FN key, and then I'll start talking. As soon as I let go of the FN key. Works perfectly fine, too.
So it's just kind of nice to have that. It's almost like a conversation with AI as opposed to typing and then reading. I'm so much quicker and better with speaking and then listening as opposed to typing and reading. I think it's just much quicker. So let's talk about this in terms of reprogramming your subconscious and learning at a rapid rate, and how I utilize AI and ChatGPT to learn at a quicker rate. Because we were talking about this, and I've put up a lot of different YouTube videos on this particular channel about Joe Dispenza. He's someone I've learned from. It applies directly to the app that we're building, Vision Espresso. And of course, you can always go check it out. It's at visionespresso.co. There's a link down in the video description. That's where you can go test out our sample funnel, where you can actually get a custom audio from your future self that's in your voice based on your vision and your goals. And again, you can go test it out. It takes you about 10 minutes. So that's a really cool thing that we've been doing. But I utilize this in a way where I use a lot of stuff that I've learned from Joe Dispenza, specifically his book, Becoming Supernatural. As I mentioned, I've talked about that book a lot on this YouTube channel. So feel free to go check that out. But here's what I want to talk about is that the reason that I really like learning with Chat GPT as opposed to just reading from books and getting that type of knowledge from a book is that I get customized information. I get customized learning from AI. So books are amazing. I've read a ton of books. I mean, I've read Becoming Supernatural probably like 7 times now, and I'm even considering going back and doing an 8th. So I think there's a lot of value in reading. I also, just to give another little hack, is I strongly recommend whenever you are reading is listen to the audiobook while you're reading the regular book, because it just hits on a few different modalities so that it just sinks in deeper. Again, I'm always talking about this from the lens of how do I get this deep into my subconscious at what I like to call is my mental fingertips, so that I can teach this stuff. Because once you teach something, once you can teach something, that's when you really know it. That's how you know it's in your subconscious. That's how you know you like understand this stuff, and that's a part of you. So if you really want to learn at a deep level, this is what I recommend, and this is what I was talking about, right? So with that being said, I know I'm going on a few different tangents here, but it's important because coming back to this thing, we're having this conversation about, you could go read a book, but you won't get the customized learning and how it applies directly to you. So I was having a conversation with my friend talking about Becoming Supernatural, the book, but I wouldn't be able to get that customized knowledge, right? So here, I could read the book, but I could also just be like, hey, chat, I want to get a little bit of context. I'm putting together a new version of my Vision Espresso app, and I want to pair up the information that I've learned from Joe Dispenza, and I want to kind of incorporate that into the sales message, but I want to internalize this and understand it on a deeper level. So can you give me a full breakdown on the book Becoming Supernatural by Joe Dispenza? And then from there, ask me a couple clarifying questions on what I'm really looking to learn so that I can understand and learn this at a deeper level. So boom, right away, I've got that. I mean, that would have easily taken me like at least twice as long if I was actually typing that out. But boom, I can go there. And something I like to do is like ask clarifying questions, so that it's almost like I'm having a back and forth conversation with Chat GPT, as opposed to just being like, give me the 3 bullet points. Like, I'm not really interested in that. I want to have a customized learning experience so that I can go into my subconscious and really internalize it and learn it. I could do this with a brand new book as well. And maybe I'll show you guys that here in a second. But what's cool here is like, it's got all this stuff. And again, like I said, I could easily read this, right? I could. But again, like I mentioned, the thing where I learn the best is when I'm reading it and listening to it at the same time. So I highlight it all and I press this because I have Speechify downloaded on my computer, and I hit play.
Got it. Let's go deep on Becoming Supernatural, and then I'll prompt you with a few clarifying questions to help you internalize and apply it to your Vision Espresso app messaging. Book. Breakdown of Becoming Supernatural. Joe Dispenza. 1. Core premise. Dr. Joe Dispenza's central thesis is that our thoughts, emotions, and intentions can shape our biology and reality. By combining ancient spiritual practices with modern neuroscience, epigenetics, and quantum physics, he argues that people can move beyond limiting beliefs, heal their bodies, and create extraordinary lives. 2. Key concepts and frameworks. Energy centers, chakras. He reframes these as energy centers in the body that hold emotional memories. By activating and balancing them, people release old patterns and align with higher energy states. The quantum field, a universal field of intelligence where all possibilities exist. When we align our thoughts and emotions coherently, we can broadcast new realities into this field. Heart-brain coherence. Research-backed evidence that when the heart and brain are in sync, via elevated emotions like gratitude, love, joy, our nervous system balances, and we enter creative flow. Meditation is a tool for rewiring. Dispenza provides structured meditations to break free from past conditioning, tune into elevated emotions, envision and feel desired futures as if they already exist. Changing your state changes your destiny. Most people are addicted to the chemicals of stress and live in the past. The practice is to generate new emotions that match the life you want, until the body believes it's already true. 3. Core practices. Blessing of the energy centers. Meditation. Focus on each energy center, breathing life and coherence into it. Mind movies. A visualization practice combining music, imagery, and emotion to prime the subconscious mind. Walking meditation. Embodying the future self while moving physically, anchoring the elevated emotional state into the body. 4. Scientific anchors. Dispenza leans on neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire itself with new thought emotion patterns. Epigenetics. Gene expression changes depending on environment, stress, and emotional state. Quantum physics. Reality exists as probabilities until observed. Intention collapses those probabilities into reality. 5. Outcomes and testimonials. The book includes numerous stories of people healing chronic illnesses, manifesting opportunities, and shifting life trajectories. These are meant as proof points that when you change your energy, you change your life. Key connection to Vision Espresso. Where this gets exciting for your app. Vision Espresso is a tool to engineer heart-brain coherence on demand. The 6-minute Vision Espresso is essentially a condensed Dispenza meditation guiding people to feel their future self now. Sales messaging can position it as the bridge between science and spirituality. Daily micro practices that train your subconscious like a muscle. Thinking phase. Clarifying questions for you to help you internalize and apply this deeply. When you think of pairing Dispenza's science with Vision Espresso, are you more drawn to the language of neuroscience, quantum physics, credibility, proof, or the language of experience, emotion, resonance, transformation. What outcome do you want users to believe Vision Espresso delivers most powerfully, e.g., healing, peak performance, peace, financial abundance, alignment? Which of Dispenza's practices feels most parallel to Vision Espresso? Mind movies, energy centers, walking meditation, heart-brain coherence, and how do you see it amplified in a 6-minute audio format? Would you like me to draft a sales copy angle that fuses becoming supernatural principles directly into your Vision Espresso messaging?
So you can see how cool that was, and if you stuck with me through that whole thing, you can kind of see how it's correlated and synced to me, as opposed to what I think a lot of people. Obviously, I don't know everyone's exact experience, but I don't think people give as much context as I did by saying all that stuff and how it correlates to me, as opposed to just like, hey, give me the 3 bullet points on Joe Dispenza's work. Right? You can ask that, but you won't get that same type of answer because I've given it more context. And I think that's something that's really important, is give it as much context as you possibly can. And that's what can significantly help out quite a bit. And then from there, it continues to be an ongoing conversation. And it's just kind of cool too. Now, like, I don't have to like necessarily think about like, oh, how does this relate to my business? How does this relate to Vision Espresso? How can I like tie this all together? It just basically gives it to me and then it asks me questions, basically just like a conversation with AI, as opposed to just like using it as a Google search engine, right? What's the top tips on what Joe Dispenza teaches? It's like, no, how do we interchange this so that I can like, and then like, what's the goal? Like I just mentioned this, like, how do I understand this on a deeper level, but how do I communicate this to my audience? How do I put it in the sales message, so on and so forth? And I use this for everything. So this is just a quick little example, but then I would just continue on it. And sometimes what's kind of cool too is like when I think about Vision Espresso and pairing that with Dispenza, I really like the neuroscience side of things. I like the quantum physics. I think it's an amazing experience. It gives you emotion. It gives you resonance. So it's kind of a combination of all of those. The outcome that I want people to believe is like anything that they want. We'll say that like literally it's like choose your own adventure. And then I like to lean on the fact that it's like the bougie version of mind movies that actually gets quicker, faster results because it sits you into brain-heart coherence and a quick rate. So those are the few things. So give me a little bit more of your perspective and we'll keep on going from there. So you can just see that I give a lot of context to it, and then it'll give me a bunch of different things. And so this is just, pretty cool, where it says, all right, the neuroscience angle. Vision Espresso is essentially the neuro hack that trains the brain to fire new patterns quickly. Dispenza talks about neuroplasticity happening through repetition and emotion. You're saying we engineer an experience that accelerates this process from the hours of meditation into minutes. So like that's really powerful for me. And then, the positioning with mind movies, like this is really powerful stuff that I can take right now and I can apply it to my sales message. I can apply it to like the conversations I'm having when I have people on calls and, people that come to my events. I can give a more powerful message. I can communicate the message on why Vision Espresso is so powerful, why people need it, how they can get quick results in a very quick pace because they're applying these neuroscientific backed practices, but we use AI to amplify all of that. So I'm not only am I learning how Dispenza's work is, like I just like in this first part right here, I kept learning. And again, this is the whole concept of subconscious mind, is like you're getting it down in your subconscious. Like I can actually talk about this stuff now because I'm having a conversation with it, as opposed to just give me the facts. Right? So I've already learned a lot. Now I'm like, all right, now that I've learned this stuff, how do I apply it to my sales message? How do I deepen my understanding so I can communicate it to somebody else? So that it helps my business so much. And then I apply this to anything. This doesn't just apply to my business, but I literally like having conversations about my relationship, or I'm having conversations about, where I'm going for lunch, or like what kind of, even when I was out in Oregon a week ago, we were looking at what state parks do we want to go to? What's the best route? And the more that I have this conversation with it, the more powerful it is. So, it's always asking me different questions. They help me build a landing page. Like, I'm sure you have part of this. I don't know exactly your experience with this type of stuff, but I just want to give you my experience because it's been pretty powerful. So if you guys enjoy that, make sure and subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you want to go check out Vision Espresso, go to visionespresso.co. The link will be down in the video description. We also have a free Skool Community. And we got a lot of cool stuff going on. So tap in. We're going to be making a lot more content. Appreciate y'all. And tell some friends. Comment down below what you got the most out of it. Appreciate y'all. Take care.